All right. I was going to just take a break today because I just wanted to take a break from the politics and everything, but I did get a request from Union Army Ball and as well as Will DeMarco. Will DeMarco, I will be talking about, see if I can find the National Bolshevist Manifesto. I know I got it somewhere, PDF somewhere. So we'll review that hopefully later this week or next week. But right now, I will get this out of the way though. So Union Army Ball wanted me to talk about this old video of Jason Unruhe and then kind of talk about that with how this the rent crisis is going to go, how the eviction crisis is going to, how bad is it going to get. So okay. Let me put the proper context on this video before we start it. So this was released on September 8th, 2017. So, so Trump hasn't even been in office for a year. And this is kind of talking about the alt-right and everything else. This is just after Charlottesville. So this is kind of, it's in that sort of context. And so I'm going to try to keep it in that context where we're going to see where it goes from there. Because obviously opinions change and people change their opinions. It has to be put into that context. Anyway, so let me go ahead and do the share. And do that. And here we go. Okay.
Alt-right YouTubers are saying that there's a civil war coming, and this also comes from other alt-right sources as well. They believe that the tension between the alt-right and like Antifa is the beginning of another civil war in America. Frankly, I find the idea completely facetious. There's no such thing on the horizon. There is no coming civil war in the United States. What is coming is another civil rights movement.
Okay. I'm going to try to be somewhat good faith here. And that maybe Jason Unruhe didn't see what was going forward, but he did see maybe the rise of BLM. But of course, so far, BLM hasn't, and of course, BLM, and a lot of people have said this commentary, but I will say it as well, is that a lot of that is the BLM movement was kind of already was dead. And, this kind of resurrected it in a lot of ways. And of course, those founders have gone on to do other things. And it's just more of it, this is the new generation, I guess. This is like BLM 2.0, basically. And, they haven't really achieved anything, as far as I can tell. The riots are continuing on, but so far it's just talk, basically. And, okay, they've attacked a federal courthouse in Portland. Okay. What else has happened? But anyway, like I said, once again, 2017, we got to put it into context. That's all I'm trying to do.
Akin to what we saw in the 60s and to the same degree in the 50s. That's coming. But there is not a civil war coming. There's a very specific reason for that. Although the original Civil War also was based on race, it's completely different. There is no bourgeois interest behind the alt-right.
Now, this is obviously before a lot of the expose and all the deep dives that people have done. But of course, the thing is that, Richard Spencer came from money. He was also involved with, his family was involved with the Democratic Party as well. And that he had connections to Hillary Clinton, it said, ultimately. So you have to put into once again, they do have their connections. same type of thing. Jason Kessler, of course, it was said, of course, who is it that Gwen Snyder? That's it. Yeah, Gwen Snyder, the lady who was at Occupy, said that people like Jason Kessler were there for the libertarians who learned a lot of what Occupy was doing and took that information and helped create the alt-right as it was. Anywho, let's continue forward.
Although you got some people who agree with them, none of them that would make you want to go to war. Nothing that would be significant enough to make them make that kind of sacrifice. Because nothing of theirs is particularly under threat. In the original U.S. Civil War, the reason there was such resistance to the abolition of slavery is because it was such a huge part of the economy of the South. And to lose that would be to lose all their economic power. And end up, that power would be in the hands of the North, where it was particularly banking and the beginnings of industrialization. But in this situation, there's no real bourgeois interest in maintaining the alt-right.
Well, this is where I would disagree as well. Even back then, the thing is that I remember, like I said, I think I went over the article, but just for those that didn't see that video of mine, when the SPLC took on the Ku Klux Klan, they didn't take on the Ku Klux Klan, when they were at their height in, the 1920s up through, maybe the 1960s or 70s. They took them on in the 1980s when the Ku Klux Klan was disorganized. Of course, the rivalries always happen between the Ku Klux Klan. Someone was banging somebody would get murdered, or, plenty of bad stories. But they had to build up a fear-mongering campaign. And of course you can say, well, is the SPLC part of the bourgeoisie? No, but they feed the ideas of Northern liberals and the idea that, well, the far right is existing. So they do need this. It's the same type of thing today with, these researchers. And of course, like I said, people like Caleb Kane, aka Faraday Speaks. And like I say, I could go over, the fact that he has a mod who's an antinatalist and whatnot. This is kind of cringe, but that's going to come when that's going to come out. That's going to be crazy, but that's a whole other story. Sorry. I really don't like that mod. I'm sorry. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, let's carry on.
Like there's nothing there for them. There's some rightist ideas about economics, but there's nothing worth going to war for them about. It's just not worth their time, and it's
that is a whole different thing. Like I said, once again, this is 2017, so I try to put it into context. I feel like there's plenty to go to war about. A lot of ways, I think that, corporations, they want to continue to do business with China, possibly. And the fact that that the government is trying to keep barriers and trying to, keep China from rising up is a whole different type of thing. But, anyway, continue.
Certainly not worth their lives and money. So the alt-right likes to really portray itself as this big, huge movement, these civil rights champions that are going to be leading the next crusade against cultural Marxists and other things that they just made up because they can't understand real life.
I think that, the alt-right as it was seen was, like I say, I'm no expert on the alt-right and everything else. I wasn't directly a part of any of that type of thing. But it's like, being somewhat disingenuous, but okay.
So there's no such thing coming. It's just simply ridiculous for the reason I just gave. So to the alt-right, please calm down. Go microwave some more pizza pockets because there's no war coming. And even the thought of someone with a Kyrgyzstan flag actually being a frontline soldier is pretty ridiculous.
But they are saying similar things today about, you know, the Proud Boys and everything else, that they don't have it or anything else. So I just put it, yeah, no problem, Union Army Ball. I figured I'd get that nipped in the bud. Yeah. Oh boy, is it making me sound chopped and screwed? Is that what it's doing? Okay. I'm not sure. It's also could be also that I'm just a bit sleepy, but I felt like I wanted to do this. Who doesn't have connections to the Clintons? What the heck is up with them? Yeah. But yeah, let me go ahead but I'm gonna try to give a somewhat original take. I know that Vosh has said some, all the lefties have said stuff basically, just like you were talking about in your comment, Unit Army Ball. But with the eviction crisis, economic advisor, I'm looking at this page here from CNBC. This is just from 4 days ago, so fairly good information. Let's see here. At the time, some 25 million Americans will stop receiving the $600 weekly federal unemployment checks by July 30, by today. And most of the statewide eviction moratoriums are winding down. Yeah. I think that there will be a scramble for states to try to keep those folks in their properties, or at least, keep them in their apartments. But many will be kicked out. Of course, like I say, I'm using many and all this type of thing because I can't speak for this on a bigger level. And this is some real big brain stuff that I really shouldn't be talking about. But like I say, I can respect my followers, so I will at least try to give my take on this. I think that really it comes down to, at least in my opinion, is who are going to be the ones to be the vanguard. Obviously, places like Minneapolis, the left is mobilized. And I say, and I hate to, once again, I know I sound like a conservative or something like that when I say that, but I say in general terms, a left-wing movement is mobilized. In Portland, a left-wing movement is mobilized. But in the South, in Texas or in Louisiana or Oklahoma, they aren't as mobilized. So really, it comes down to who is going to pick up the slack. Like I say, once again, I'm sure that there will be other movements that will come out that are definitely going to, say, hey, we're going to help these people out. Whereas the left is going to try to, maybe start communes or something like that. The far right folks that will probably take these folks under their wing in, like, Texas or Louisiana or Mississippi. Yeah, I say it's going to be part far right folks, but part of it is also going to be gangs as well. Look at Al Capone and giving out turkeys, this and that. Yeah, meaning he should have known people are willing to die for far right cause. Yeah, one of my chats is gone. I'm assuming you didn't delete it. I don't think I took it down. I have no. Yeah, I don't know. Union Army Ball. What were you saying? I wish I could. Maybe you could type it out one more time. That way I can. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about it. My cat is going wild. Sometimes she gets bored and she'll run around. So we'll just let her do that. For example, nearly 60% of renters in West Virginia are at risk of eviction, compared to 22% in Vermont. Yeah, I mean 50% in Louisiana, 48% in Texas. Like I said, 33% Oregon, 28% Washington. Hold on, let me check that right quick. Girly Brown, are you trapped? What did you drop in here? What are you doing? Okay. All right. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see what we got here. My comment said that right-wing terror peaked in recent history in America in 2015. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say so too. I think that a lot of it is just individual type of stuff. Like I say, of course, the thing is that they'll say, "Oh well, Antifa hasn't killed anybody," and the far right has killed all these folks, and then they throw in, of course, Islamic groups. And it's like, well, I thought that you were against anti-Islamic rhetoric. It's one of those. This is one of those two-faced type of things. Talking out of both sides of your mouth. It's interesting to say the least. When you see these bread tube folks who are like, "Well, we don't like the anti-Muslim rhetoric that the right preaches." And then, of course, they'll be like, oh, well, look at all this far-right violence, which includes Muslim terrorist groups, and even if it's, Wahhabist or, whichever strain of radical Islam it is, I would be very careful to use those phrases. But that's just me. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Hi, Cornholio fan. I apologize. I do see you in the chat. Hello. But yeah, it really just comes down to who is going to pick up the slack. It's the same type of thing. I think I saw it on Unicorn Riot 2, where they took down the temporary camp that was there in I want to say it was Texas. I want to say, but yeah, it's there's a lot of craziness going on out there. Like I say, it really just comes down to who is going to take charge. Like I say, let me just say this for the record too. There's a lot of accelerationist talk. There's a lot of deterritorialization talk. A lot of weird stuff out there. I am not specifically, apart from the LARPing video that I did, which is just for the jokes. I'm not an accelerationist, but I will see. It's like nothing ever goes completely the way you want it to. And that's why I don't really fully look into theory, because to me, ultimately, theory only goes so far. Osama's manifesto was a weird mix of left-wing rhetoric with right-wing traditionalist ideology. Osama is a logical endpoint to identity politics. Okay. But yeah, I think that's about it. Does that answer some of what you wanted me to talk about, Union Army Ball? I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit sleepy there, but I felt like I had to get this done. Is there anything else you wanted me to talk about? Yeah, and that's why it's bad. Yeah, I can believe that to a point. I'll just wait for the comment. Hopefully, like I say, I'm doing this through StreamYard, so I can't really see the chat. Let me see here. I got to do some research on Osama. Sounds like an interesting guy. Yeah, he liked anime too, apparently. It's a very interesting thing about Osama. He was a big anime fan. So I was like, I've heard some stuff nowadays where it's like, he just spent his days just sitting inside, just watching videos of himself. But yeah. Oh, no problem, Union Army Ball. Not a problem at all. Like I say, I know Will DeMarco wanted me to do a video talking about Power of Allah and anime. Yeah. Yeah. But I know Will DeMarco, like I said at the beginning of this, he wanted me to do a video talking about Carl Otto Pytel. And I did read how will the rent crisis affect things? I think, like I say, once again, I mean, in terms of the left-right paradigm, it just comes down to who's going to be the one that really, takes charge. It will be bad, obviously. I mean, to simplify things, like obviously so. I mean, I can't really say because I live at home with my parents. I'm going to be honest with you. But I feel like there will be more people out in the streets. And it's just a matter of who is going to be the herd leader. That's really what it comes down to. Who's going to be the vanguard, like I was saying. And that's really what it is. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, is that you're going to, you've already got mobilization in Minneapolis, mobilization in these other areas. Now, of course, like I said, according to this map anyway, Minnesota, 29% it affects. Oregon, like I say, with all the riots going on in Portland, 33%. Now, like Tennessee, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas, those movements have been fairly weak. They've been fairly weak. I can say for the hometown, the town I'm living in now, I should say, they had the police show up, and it was perfectly okay. It's like the chief of police can show up to one of these protests, and everything's perfectly okay. There's very little pushback, this and that, but there was a connection there where it's like, and of course the chief of police was like, well, we want to understand what's going on, this and that. Ultimately, nothing happened. But yeah, the Bernie Bros and Anarchists will obviously take charge. Like I say, not necessarily in the South. Like I say, they don't have the same mobilization in the South, like I was saying, where it's really going to hurt people. I don't know. Once again, the whole right wing, it's like the whole Republican Democrat argument, but it's like, yeah, a lot of the Republican states, GOP states, are going to be hurt more. There is a correlation here. 42% in Oklahoma, 48% in Texas, 50% in Louisiana, 55% in Mississippi, 58% in Tennessee, 59% in West Virginia. There's going to be a lot of effect. Yeah. South has no class consciousness. That's true. Yeah. I'll be somewhat even split between anarchism, leftism, and criminal organizations. Yeah. I would say the same thing. Like I was saying earlier in the video, I think that gangs will take up some aspect of it. It's just a matter of what's going to happen. Yeah. South has no consciousness, not even race consciousness, really. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is out there, but it's not as deep. I think that, a lot of the stuff that went on, it's just not very strong, I think, in general. It's like there is elements where it's like it's out there, but it's like it's just kind of a malaise, really. There's not a real strong protest nature in the South, at least in this present paradigm. I know people say, oh, well, what about the 20s or the 30s? I'm saying, but yeah, things have changed now. It's a whole different type of thing. Yeah. So we're the hurt. Yeah, the South is hurt more by these things, but no one ever does anything about it. No, they don't, because they don't care about the South, really. They once again, there's this idea that, they want to build class consciousness, but it's like that there's still this idea that everyone in the South are just dumb rednecks. So who cares? That's that's one of the real Achilles heels of the left, and that they are just giving it away over to, dare I use this term, because I really don't agree with it, but Christo-fascism. They're going to give it over to, and this is no offense. Let me say this before I say anything wrong here, and not to offend Union Army Ball, but more Protestant Christian sort of ideas. Not just talking about an outside force, but like the people themselves. Yeah. Like I say, some class consciousness around Southern trailer park trash. Yeah. Like I say, I mean, that's all I can really. That's all I can really say. Like I say, I'm just more concerned with just seeing how things may fall apart. Thing is that the accelerationists are just, I think they're worried about just trying to get to the point that you want to have things fall apart, but then they have all these ideas that may happen, but it's like, like I say, you're getting all this real weird shit. And I couldn't see myself I'm too dumb for that. It's like people in the South and other similar areas like Appalachia don't ever want to organize or do anything to help themselves. Yeah, like I say, I think that there are elements of of just how strong the the propaganda is. And I think that, like I say, I've heard some things with Caleb Maupin talk about this. And I think, yeah, the left was, the CPUSA did have a strong movement in the South. But I think once a lot of things happen, yeah, I don't deny some Christian ideas have influenced the South negatively. Yeah. Like I say, I know that, you are a Protestant and everything else. I don't mean, yeah. I mean, look at Stitt. Yeah. Yeah, Stitt. Yeah, Kevin Stitt. Yeah, I know that he said some real crazy stuff. And I know that, we've seen, what's his name die, I think, from COVID. Actually, I should mention that. The Godfather pizza guy. What was his name? Yeah, Herman Cain. That's it. Yeah, Herman Cain. That's it. Yeah, he passed away. 74. Yeah. And yeah, it was because of COVID. But yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it's just, yeah, or any of these governors, half of them are ANCAP and dangerous as fuck, but no one ever does anything. No, you're right. They don't. I think that's something that a lot of accelerationists and a lot of other, collapsitarians and all, they don't really talk about that. I think they just view the South as just some backwater. And it's unfortunate. Like I say, I've lived in Texas since I was 10 years old. And yeah, I believe longism is the future of the working South. I would hope so, but it takes a lot of strong leaders. And right now, I just don't see that happen. Gotta go, guys. It's late tonight. Yeah, no problem at all, Will DeMarco. Like I said, I was going to say, though, I will try to find that Pytel, the National Bolshevist Manifesto. We'll go over that. But yeah, yep, you too. Take care and have a good weekend to you as well. He visited Oklahoma. Yeah. Like I say, I think that, see you later. But, I think that's really all I have. Like I say, yeah, I do agree. I know Cornholio fan, you watch Zizek. I've seen some Zizek. I haven't seen a ton of it. Maybe I should watch some Zizek, but like I say, I think that those guys are good. Same thing with, even to a point with accelerationists, is that they have good elements to a point. But I think that, oh man, it's hit me. Sorry, it's hitting me. But I think that to a point that the ins and outs and the details are something that nobody can fully predict. He did a recent video on Trump. Oh, okay. I see that he did one. Let's see here. This is from June, I think. June 11th. Yeah, coronavirus, Black Lives Matter, revolution. Okay, there we go. Yeah, apparently he, like I said, I'll probably see it, but yeah. Let me see here. How Democrats are helping Trump win in 2020. See, this is from April, May. What the left can learn from Trump. There's that. Let's say here. I got a short video. I'll show this.
You know what Trump is really doing? Mostly, he doesn't directly break the law, but in any civilized society, you have explicit laws, but then you have, of course, that's the life in a community. There are complex, unwritten rules, habits, and so on about how to apply the law. And Trump breaks not the law, breaks these unwritten habits. He does something that you cannot say is directly against the law, but it's obvious that to use the standard expression, this is not how it was meant to be used. For example, You remember when It's already 2-3 months ago. And he declared, how was it called? State of emergency, national emergency because of the immigrant threat. Some conservatives were shocked by it, and they were right. They said, wait a minute, this, because, proclaiming state of emergency was meant not if 400 people from Honduras approach Mexican border. It was meant when there is a mega natural catastrophe, new war or whatever. But some conservatives got into a panic. You know why? Because they said, wait a minute. What if the next Democratic president will proclaim a state of emergency for global warming? Yes, exactly here we should learn from Trump. He taught us how to not even break the rules, but violate the unwritten background.
Well, there you go. Did y'all not hear that? I just want to make sure. Like he is talking about Huey Long. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, well, I want to make sure. Sorry about that. Yeah. Maybe I didn't do the audio right with that. Apologies, folks. But basically, yeah, he was talking about basically kind of like how conservatives didn't like it. It kind of refers to kind of the, how the never Trumpers see Trump and everything else like that. Yeah. Oh, okay. You can hear the audio. Okay. I just want to make sure y'all heard the audio from Zizek. That's all. Like I say, I'm kind of tired, folks. So I just want to make sure y'all heard that and everything. Like I say, we're just gonna see where it goes, and that's all we can really do. Like I say, unfortunately, I posted a video earlier, but the link didn't show up. Yeah, YouTube is not good about showing links. I was trying to look for, yeah, they don't like to post links, Cornholio fan. But yeah, I think I've kind of said my piece. What I will end on, just as a kind of, okay. Let me see here. Let me go to my page right quick here. It's kind of like, let's see here. Here we go. This is kind of like the, there we go. Let's go ahead. This is one of the wildest things ever. Here we go. That's weird. Here we go. This is kind of like the, there we go. Yeah. Oh man, my voice was off. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Well, folks. Yeah. Good night. Have a good sleep. Thank you. Let me see here. Yeah. For some reason, it didn't show up. And I can't do it from here. I was going to try to do it from here, but it didn't want to do it. Okay, well. Okay. Sorry about that then. All right. But I will leave y'all to it. Let me finish on this point, though. I will finish on this point. Let me go ahead and remove that right quick. Okay. Like I say, there you go. Let me see if it'll show up here. It takes forever with these types of things. I can't. Okay. It's already gone back. All right. Can I skip to that and do that? Okay. It's now we're just kind of watching ourselves now. It's kind of like eating our own brain. Okay, but I appreciate it, Cornholio fan. Like I say, YouTube isn't good about links like that. I do see the link. But yeah, stream lag. Yeah. Anyway, like I say, this, the rent problems will be a problem. It will be an issue. It just is really going to come down to who is going to be in charge? Yeah, or who is going to take charge of these unwashed masses? Do MLs hate the South? I think that MLs just don't care. I don't think it's necessarily hate, but a lot of the MLs exist like in, bioleninism. Yeah, it's been a while since I've read that type of stuff, but yeah, that's true too. I would say that it's just going to come down to who is going to be the ones that take charge of this, and who are going to be the ones that take care of it. That's what I would say ultimately. But yeah, that's all I have. Sorry, my. I think I've said my piece. Is there anything else y'all want me to say? I'll go ahead and thank you, of course, to Cornholio Fan 1995, Union Army Ball, and of course, I know that Will DeMarco has already gone to sleep. I want to thank everybody for making their comments. Most Deep South populists were pro-segregation. James Folsom is underrated, though. Zizek actually talked about violentalism before the right. Oh, really? Huh. So before that, that pigeon guy on Twitter, he talked about it. Huh. Well, there you go. Once again, it's another reason why the left doesn't necessarily love Zizek in some ways, because he's a little bit too he's a little too reactionary to them, or that he's a fake leftist in some of their views. But I have no doubt. I have no doubt at all about that. Like I say, all I can really say is that, it's going to, there's a lot of vulnerable people that are going to be out there in the streets. And like I say, I think that, Union Armball talked about this, and I already talked about it as well, is that ultimately I think that gangs are going to be stepping in and they're going to take advantage. And other groups are, Zizek isn't reactionary. Well, I know, but the left sees him as reactionary. There's a part of the left that sees him as reactionary. There are people like that. The BreadTube folks definitely see him as reactionary to a point. People like that Innuendo Studio guy saw him as very reactionary. Yeah, I know Zizek isn't. I know that a lot of people see him as that. And that's my point. Okay, folks. Like I say, I need to get to sleep. I'm a little drained right now. But thank you, Cornholio Fan, for your comments. And Union Armball for making your comments. And Will DeMarco. Technically, isn't Bolshevism left-wing reactionary? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all talk about that. I'm really going to get some sleep. Hopefully, family will take over. They'll take over the South. Be nice, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Anyway, unfortunately, it's going to be, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be pretty. That's all I can say. I hope y'all have a good night, and see you later. Bye-bye.